Hello all. This session we will see different functions of transport layer. So we have seen the functions of physical data link and network layer in the previous sessions, right? And the remaining 4 layers, those are transport session, presentation and application layers, are present only in the host systems. That is only present in the end systems. So the intermediate connecting devices like routers and gateways contains only up to network layers. And we already know that the network layer is responsible for the end-to-end delivery of a packet, right? So each packet will be routed properly from the sending machine to the destination machine by the network layer. But the actual communication is not just between two machines but between two different specific processes, right? We have seen an example for that also. So the messages should be properly delivered to the specific process within a machine, right? And the communication is not just packets but the entire message should be delivered properly to the destination, right? So this is done by the transport layer. That is, the transport layer is responsible for the delivery of a message, complete message from one process to another. And you remember the position of transport layer, right? It was in between the session layer and network layer. So at the sender side, it receives application data from the session layer and passes it down to the network layer. And at the receiver side, the opposite. It receives data from the network layer and passes it up to the appropriate process. Okay. So this is how this transport layer is arranged in our network architecture. It receives data from the session layer. Okay. And as we know, as per the network capacity, we may have to divide our user message into different parts. And in transport layer, these parts are called actually segments. So entire message will be received from the session layer and that will be chopped into different parts according to the network capacity, and each part will be attached with a header. Obviously some information like how to combine these together at the destination in the proper order. For that some sequence numbers and all will be added at the header part. Okay, then only we can recombine all these at the receiver side. So this message is divided into different parts or segments. A header will be attached with each data part and this will be delivered to the network layer. So in the network layer, each of these segments with the extra header will be treated as a separate packet. Okay, and at the receiver side the reverse happens. It receives a set of packets from the network layer and based on the header part, those will be combined. After removing the header part, these will be combined together to form a single message and will be provided to the session layer. So in a nutshell, the transport layer is responsible for the delivery of a message from one process to another. And so we can say that it is a process to process delivery, whereas in case of network layer, it is source to destination delivery. So we can compare different types of delivery. That is, we have a set of processes in sending machines and receiving machines, and that actual communication is between two different processes. The middle process here is communicating with the middle process here, right? And these two different machines are interconnected using this internet. And in case of network layer, this machine to machine delivery will be done for each packet. And it's the duty of the transport layer to perform the process to process delivery of the entire message. Okay. So apart from these responsibility, lot of other functionalities are also there for the transport layer. First one is service point addressing. So as we know, if we want to perform a process to process delivery, there should be some mechanism to identify each process, right? Some address should be there and that is called service point address. Okay, and we can see those. Then segmentation and reassembly, connection control, flow control, error control. These 5 extra functionalities are also there for the transport layer. So let us start from service point addressing. As we know, each and every process should be uniquely identified using some number or address, and those are called port number. You remember in the previous session, right? So every process will have a port number to identify. So just for example, here the client is requesting for some information from the server, okay, and the corresponding address, the client process address is 1025, port number is 1025. And as we know, the machine will be identified using some IP address, right? And the machine's IP address is this. Okay, so we have two different addresses. One to identify the entire machine, that is IP address is 211.14.16.99, and the corresponding process through which we will access the web server. Maybe some browser here, right? And the corresponding port number is 1025. And upon requesting, the corresponding service will be provided by some process in the server, right? So definitely HTTP requests are handled by the well-known port number 80. So at the receiver, the process port number is 80, and the server's IP address is 211.14.16.98. Okay, so this is how these two machines and the corresponding ports or processes are actually identified. So we can see that each segment in the transport layer contains this information: source port number and the destination port number. So coming to the network layer, we have the packet, right? So within the packet we have two more information. What were they? The destination IP address and source IP address, right? You remember the logical addressing function done by the network layer. It will attach the senders and destinations IP address with the packet, right? Apart from that, the TCP or transport layer will attach the port number of both sender and receiver with the segments. Okay, so that is one function of this transport layer. It receives a set of segments, or it receives a message from the session layer, cut it into segments, and each segment will be attached with a sequence number that will be a part of header, and also it will attach the port number of the sender and receiver with each segment. Okay, then it will pass that into the network layer. So network layer, this extra information will be added. This part will be attached by the transport layer with every segment. Okay, so that is the first function, that is service point addressing. And the next functionality is segmentation and reassembly. As we know, the message from the user may be too long to handle by the network. So that message will be handed over by the session layer to this transport layer. Now it's the duty of this transport layer to cut that entire message into different parts, and those are called segments. And dividing this message into different parts are called segmentation. Okay, and each segment, a header part will be added to include the sequence number of the corresponding part and also the port number of the receiver and sender. So each header will be had with each data part. Okay, this is called segmentation at the sender side. And at the receiver side, it receives different packets from this network layer, right? And according to the sequence number, they will be arranged in the proper order. Header parts will be removed, okay, and combined all these segments together to form the message bag. And this is called reassembly. And the reassembled segments, that is the entire message, that will be handed over to the session layer at the receiver side. That is called reassembly. And the next functionality is connection control. In case of OSI reference model, the transport layer always provide a connection oriented service. So in the case of connection oriented service, first a connection should be established between the sender and receiver. You can see here the sender and receiver want to communicate. So before sending the actual data, they establish a connection. So you can think about a telephone conversation as an analogy for this connection oriented communication. If we want to talk to some friend, we will dial his number, right? And when he pick up the corresponding call, a channel will be established, a connection will be established. Then all the conversation will be through that channel, right? And this will be continued until we cut the call. either of us can cut the call, right? So like this, in computer network also, if you want to do some connection oriented communication, first a connection should be established between the sender and receiver using some steps. Some handshaking steps are there, we will see later. Okay, some synchronization message will be sent from the sender to receiver, then an acknowledgement and synchronization back from receiver to sender, again an acknowledgement from the sender to receiver. After these three steps, a connection will be established between the sender and receiver, and all messages corresponding to that communication will be through this dedicated channel. Okay, and this will be continued until one of the machine terminate the corresponding connection. Okay, so after connection establishment, the data will be transferred. Okay, and this is called connection oriented communication. So in that case, the transport layer is responsible for controlling this connection, flow control and error control. Okay, flow control in the sense if the sender and receiver are of different speed of processing the data, or the channel and the machines are of different speed of processing the data. In that case, there can be some speed mismatch and the data may be lost, right? So just for example, if the sender is very fast and receiver is slow, the sender may overwhelm the receiver. In that case, the data may be lost. Such cases will be handled by the flow control mechanism. Example for flow control mechanisms are sliding window protocols and all. So as you know, the data link layer is responsible for some hop-to-hop flow control, right? But the end-to-end, the sender host to destination host flow control will be done by the transport layer. Like that error control, the frames or the messages can be corrupted, or some of the packets can be duplicated, or some may be lost. Lot of errors will be there. End-to-end error control will be done by the transport layer, whereas hop-to-hop error control will be done by the data link layer, right? So these are the different functionalities of transport layer. Now the next session we will see the three remaining layers like session, presentation and application. Thank you.